guys! I was tagged by Grace from G-swizzel Books to do the Guilty Reader book tag. The first question is, have you ever re-gifted a book that you've been given? Honestly, I don't think I have, unless you count like writing in a book and giving it to a friend, as I've done. But I don't think they're books that I was given. I think they were books that I bought specifically to write in them and to give them to a friend. So yeah, I can't think of any books that I have re-gifted to someone else. I don't think I've ever done it. There have been books which I didn't really like so much, so I gave them to someone else when I found out that they were interested in it, but it wasn't like a gift. It wasn't like, hey, wrap this up for you, happy birthday. Yeah, it's just like, oh, you want this? Have it. It wasn't re-gifted. Question number 2 is, have you ever said you've read a book when you haven't? Again, I can't really think of a time when I would have said that. Why would you need to say that you have read a book if you haven't read it? I think I'm usually pretty honest about whether I've read books or not. I try to be anyway. The next question is, have you ever borrowed a book and not returned it? Not from the library, but there is a book that one of my friends lent me, I think when we were still in school, and I found it on my shelf recently and I felt very shamed. I have every intention of giving it back though. It's just that I actually have not read it yet. So I might read it first and then give it back. But it's been years, so yeah, I feel pretty bad about that. The next question is, have you ever read a series out of order? And no, I hate reading series out of order. Why would you do that? I can't think of any reason why you would need to read a series out of order. They're in an order for a reason. You have to read them in order. Yeah, so no, I haven't. I think so far I'm doing pretty well. I'm not very guilty. I think there was like 1. Next question is, have you ever spoiled a book for someone? Not by accident. I am really strict about spoilers. If I'm talking to somebody about a book that they have not read and I want to talk about something that is a spoiler in the book, I will always ask, do you care about spoilers? Do you mind if I spoil you? I always check. But if we're not talking about accidental, if we're talking about deliberately, where I have checked and they don't care, then yes, I've spoiled books for someone. I often talk to my mum about books that I'm reading and she doesn't really mind hearing all the spoilers, so I tell her everything and it's great because I can get it off my chest immediately. Next question is, have you ever dog-eared a book? Do you think I've ever dog-eared a book? You've probably got an either yes or no in your head right now. Guess what? I have. I have dog-eared books. I don't really like it, but when I was a lot younger, I never really cared. I would always dog-ear books. My dad dog-ears books all the time, and that is frustrating. So I have dog-eared books, but I try not to. Next question, have you ever told someone you don't own a book when you do? I don't think so. There might have been times when I've sort of avoided talking about things that I own, such as the Morganville Vampire series. But you know what? I'm coming to terms with the fact that I read it and I need to accept it. I mean, my bookshelf is in the back of my videos. You see what I own. Can't really hide it. Have you ever told someone you haven't read a book when you have? Again, I don't think so. I suppose for this question you could kind of go again with the avoidance issue. Sometimes I avoid telling people that I have read the entire Twilight series, but now it's out in the open and you know. So, there's no going back now. Okay, to be fair, when I read the Twilight series, I really enjoyed them. Like, I loved them. They were great. But now I realize there were so many issues in those books and I have no desire to read them again. That's a lie. I have a slight desire to read them again, but that's just because I like vampires. All of my guilty stuff seems to revolve around vampires. I'm noticing a trend. Have you ever skipped a chapter or a section of a book? The only thing I can think of for this question is one of the books in the Alex Rider series has a chapter which is set in the past. You don't really need all this back information. Basically, there's a chapter in the Alex Rider series where there's a spider, and I hate spiders, so when I reread the Alex Rider series, I skipped it because I just had no desire to read about it. The last question is, have you ever badmouthed a book that you actually like? I feel like for this one it's probably a yes, because there are books that I like but that also have like bad things in them, or that like parts of it suck. It doesn't have to be black and white, you know, you can like a book for some things and dislike it for some other things and still kind of say you like the book overall. So I don't see a problem with that question, really. That's all of the questions. I really hope you enjoyed watching, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment down below. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, I would really appreciate it. And you can also follow me on Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, and Goodreads. Ciao for now, monkeys!